Political commentator Nduru Waruinge has issued what he calls a grave warning about the direction Kenya is taking under the broad-based government, predicting a dark chapter for leaders and families he says are backing the arrangement. Speaking passionately, Waruinge claimed that their fate is sealed for those he believes are aligning with a broad-based government, naming either Odinga and William Ruto in his remarks. According to Waruinge, Kenyans who currently support the political handshake will only realize later the heavy price their families allegedly paid. A statement he framed as a warning rather than evidence, urging the public to watch events carefully. Waruinge further alleged that behind the scenes, the late Raila Odinga had made it clear that ODM's presidential ticket was never off the table, claiming Raila once asked, "Who told you that there will be no ODM candidate for the presidency?" The assertion is presented as Waruinge's personal claim and interpretation of internal party politics, not as a verified statement from ODM leadership.
The rush and the government bringing extreme confusion, extreme and deliberate. Going to whatever happened to the airport, it's unacceptable. It will never be acceptable in any abnormal country. At Haiti, that cannot do that. Where we have the security, where we have a standard to be maintained of any airport, Kenya being one of the highly regarded airports in Africa, with the airlines, we have the Israeli airlines here in Kenya, the American airlines here in Kenya, the France airlines here in Kenya. That was completely unacceptable. Our airport is one of the best guarded airport that nobody can just get inside without permission. And these guys were not armed. They were just normal wolves. They were not armed. Well, they were armed na matawi. Now. So we cannot say that they were able to defeat the GSU and even the KDF that is just next to the compound of the airport, meaning the security lapses were intentional. And this is now raises a question. Why was an intentional disorganization? Remember again, they were trying to take the body to the leave for the exchange and everything. Nothing worked. They tried to come to parliament and nothing worked. And now they went to Kasarani. Kasarani again, another deliberate confusion. Gunshots from the army, not from the police. Gunshot from the army. Several people died. Then the body was taken inside. They say it's not pathologists, no. These morticians from the army took over, they changed everything, they did everything. That sort of a confusion. Another big question that we need to ask. Ida was not in the hospital to see Baba, never traveled with Baba, never went to pick the body of Baba. She was never at the airport to pick Baba. What could be? Winnie was in charge of everything. Even if this is your daughter, you have a son, you have another daughter, you have relatives, the whole scenario was played around like Winnie was in charge. Where was your wife? The first thing, she could have been the first woman to give a statement while in India. My husband has gone. She could be there to accompany the body of her husband back to Kenya. That is normal. Normal. I lost my father. My mother was there. Unfortunately now, when my mother died, my father was not there. But we, the sons, accompanied the body of our mother in the absence of our father. And that is a norm to every society. Hata kwa wazungu, it is a norm. Ndio kuna gari ya kubeba mwili na inabebanga familia. The close family members wanakanga ndani ya hiyo gari. So those are questions. I'm not trying to initiate anything. She could have delegated. I'm just raising some questions. What could have it been that was there a lapse in communication or the understanding that maybe she was given an information your husband has died in a manner she was not able to comprehend, or just say, yes, my husband has died. Yes, the man was sick. I met him before he died, some few weeks before. I met him at Serena. He came where I was. He greeted me. We talked a lot of it, but you could see the man was pale. But the manner in which it was handled by the wife and the family and the government, there is a big question mark. How the confusion was instigated at the airport, at the mortuary, at the parliament, at Kasarani, there was a scenario, there is a cover-up that was there. Number two, the wife not being forefront. That's a big question. And number three, and this is what really puzzles me, the question she's asking. I don't understand why this man died this time. Now this is the time you connect with who said. Who said you are not going to field our candidate? Then this woman has come to affirm that statement. I really don't understand why this man died this time. Why? So, this man could have died, but not at this time. She's trying to ask a question. What could have triggered his death? Is it the actual sickness or what? Now I'll go back to Junet. The money he was given now, you see what he said about he was given by Uhuru, the money, and this gentleman, the DCP gentleman from Western, Lala, that he used to come to the meeting, Junet, with them and the Ruto, and they would come and plan, discuss, and they had the entire list of the agents for Raila, which is true, because I was campaigning for Nairobi governor, this Igade, Paul Cap Igade. In all the stations I went, there was no agent. There were no, and the man carrying the money that was given, the money for paying the agents, was Junet. And now this story of Junet has come out, that he was given money, he ate the money, and he could visit Ruto in the night. You see now, there is a bigger thing. There's something I told you is it early last year or mid last year? The Somali community, it brought a lot of problem. Now Gachagua has come about with it. It's like now people are understanding what I was saying. Junet was during the campaign. Junet could meet Ruto while Junet was on the other side. He was given money to pay for the agents. He never paid them. And then come the other side of, there's a Duale the other side. And the planning, Duale they were never friends with Raila. Remember the time Raila chased Duale from the party. Then he came, he joined the Ruto side, and the Duale became bigger now, even bigger than Raila. He became a minister, he became whatever. Then he was just a mere assistant minister. He was just a mere MP, and it was disregarded by Raila. He grew up, became so strongly. The agenda of Junet and the Duale was one. They were not in UDA, they were not in the Raila party. They were in their own party, inside the parties, organizing smartly from inside, controlling the government from inside, controlling the people in power from inside, and they mobilized funds to make sure that this side of Ruto wins. Point number two, there is this who said we are going to be under Ruto. Who said? Who said? That is Raila. Who said you're not going to have our own candidate? That's a $1 million question. Who said? Who told you that I'm not going to buy? That's a question, because he was the only person who could have buyed. Who told you I am not in the ballot box? Then the wife now, question number three, the wife is asking, I don't see why or what led to Raila die at this time. Because I am sure he was not supposed to die this time. That's the wife saying so. Meaning, this wife has been having question. And this question is reinforced by, I don't know where this will was written. So, in the whole scenario of the death and the burial, Aida was not aware. She was kept in the darkness. That is what she's telling us. If you can't know, because the first thing, if you come with a will, you place it before the wife, you tell the wife, this is the will. Then she will call the lawyer of the family and ask, do you know about this? No. They will call the doctor of the family. Do you know about this? No. Or yes. Now, there is no doctor, family doctor, there is no lawyer. Ascertain that 72 hours. So why the 72 hours? Why the hurry? The hurry is this. The question of Ida. I don't know why this man died at this time. The 72 hours is a puzzle towards the question Ida is asking now. I don't know why. Because this man has died, but the reason for his death, I don't know why at this time. Then the puzzle extends to the other side, who said, I'm not going to buy. Why you campaigning is as though I have moved. Remember, the main work of Junet was to tame Raila from inside, to make sure he disorganizes this man. He disorganizes. And they immediately remember, Junet was the forefront person to fight Wamonyoro during the impeachment. He was so vocal, he was so strong. They teamed up with Ishongwa. Remember, there's a time Junet was to be removed, but Ruto defended him. While in the other side of the opposition, he was removed from the deputy. Is he a deputy chief whip or deputy majority? He was to be removed, but Ruto defended him.
One of the most sensitive claims he raised concerns Raila Odinga's burial. Waruinge alleged that the decision to bury Raila within 72 hours came as a shock even to Ida Odinga herself, claiming she was not aware that the burial would take place so quickly. This claim has not been independently confirmed, but Waruinge used it to argue that powerful forces were moving faster than even the family expected. Waruinge went further to point out what he described as a serious confusion surrounding the period immediately after Raila Odinga's death. According to him, the country witnessed mixed signals, rushed decisions, and unanswered questions that left even close allies unsettled. He argued that nothing followed the usual political or cultural order. Kenyans are familiar with when a national figure of Raila's stature passes on. In his remarks, Waruinge directly blamed President Ruto for what he termed as deliberate confusion during that moment, claiming that key processes were hurried and communication was unclear. He suggested that the speed of events, coupled with silence from expected quarters, created an atmosphere of uncertainty and fear rather than national mourning. Waruinge insisted that this confusion was not accidental, but part of a wider political calculation that Kenyans would only fully understand with time. He concluded by warning that history will eventually judge the period harshly, urging Kenyans to revisit those days carefully, connect the dots, and ask themselves who benefited most from the confusion that followed Raila Odinga's death. This is Sauti Mzalendo News, fearless, independent, and committed to telling the people what power does not want questioned.